The Greek Economic Crisis by Sarah Plaxco. For over 6 years, Greece has been stuck in a financial crisis so big that countries around the world still cannot agree on a way to save the Greek economy. Yet how this crisis came to be often confuses people, as it actually evolves not from one problem, but from many very complex problems that include debt, the inability to issue more currency, lying to the Eurozone about national deficit, and unemployment. These problems are carefully tied together to form what has left millions of people out of a job, and one of the oldest countries in the world struggling to provide for its people. How could this happen? One root cause of the economic crisis is at the fault of the people. When Greece adopted the euro, loans were cheaper, and this made buying expensive items more and more common because people could pay back the debt. But this ended up backfiring because soon everyone had debt and it became a national problem. This, paired alongside firing over 150,000 civil servants, a position that was promised to last a lifetime, caused many people to dip below the poverty line, and in some cases to become homeless. So the government had an issue. People who still hadn't paid back their debt were living on the streets with next to nothing. So the government borrowed money from other countries in the Eurozone. This was fine until it was released that the Greek government had cooked their books or lied about national deficit, saying it was 3.4%, when in reality it was over 15%. This left Greece with a huge new homeless community, people declaring bankruptcy, and a debt of over 355.2 billion euros. The unemployment crisis. One effect of the Greek economic crisis is the unemployment crisis. After Greece fired over 150,000 civil servants, many people were unable to find a new job. This left people with tight budgets, and they stopped buying the extra luxuries or going out to eat, which is an important tradition for many Greek families. Eventually, this led to restaurants and businesses closing as well. In 2014, the unemployment rate soared to 29% for all Greek people, but hit young people, ages 15 to 24, the hardest, leaving 48% of them out of a job in 2015. The Eurozone. The Eurozone is a lower branch of the European Union that keeps the central bank's stability and money supply/production in check. When it was established in 1999, Greece dropped its previous currency, the drachma, to be included in the first wave of countries to join. Most people now recognize that letting Greece join was a mistake because when a country usually runs out of money like Greece did in its economic crisis, it will just print more money and struggle with a weak currency for a few years before things swing back. However, this was not an option for Greece because in the Eurozone, the central bank decides how much money gets printed based on the economic standings of all the Eurozone countries as a whole. The effects on Greece. The economic debt crisis has had a multitude of unintended ripple effects on Greece. Perhaps the most pressing, there are over 20,000 homeless people in Athens alone. Another issue in Athens were the four major riots that took place in years 2010 through 2012. 4 people died and over 315 people were injured in these riots that destroyed entire streets in the capital city. Tourism has also taken a blow, partially due to the danger that comes with the previously listed effects of the economic crisis. Greece is one of the oldest and most historically interesting countries in the world, and has long been a tourist hotspot. That is until around 2011 when people began to question the safety in Greece, and soon canceled trips that gave the country one of its main sources of income. Now only about a third of the museums, archaeological sites, and ruins remain open and staffed, and even less are open for more than a few days a week. In conclusion, while there is not a foreseeable end to this crisis without suffering and time, there are many options. Greece could raise taxes, cut their spending, or even sell monuments or plots of land to other European countries. However, each of these has major downsides. People who aren't homeless barely have enough money to pay the taxes now. Cutting spending has been unsuccessful in the past, and it is extremely unlikely that Greece will be willing to sell important artifacts from their heritage, culture, and history for money. This is why dropping the euro might be the best bet for Greece's future. If Greece was to start printing drachmas again, it would be a long process, taking somewhere between 6 months and 2 years just to print enough money for the country to have enough currency to make things run. But Greece would be able to print the amount of money they need to reduce its value, which would help exports and eventually pay off debt. In short, this might be the best long-term solution for Greece if they hope to be respected as an economically stable country again.